people? We are here on Puntology again with another interview. And this time we got, y'all know who we got over here? Tenemos el bajista de Garifuna Kips,
Yes, sir. Yes,
el
sir.
productor de El Mala Polía de Jimmy Suazo y mucho más.
Yes.
También de Nino Arzú, del Tableta. Oh man, we got a legend here.
Got a whole list. Got a whole list.
Word. And that is Linky Zapata.
Yes, sir.
Yo-
Hola, mi gente. Hola, mi gente.
Yes, Link. How you doing, man? How you been?
Man. Been blessed. Doing good. Family-wise, music-wise, just doing what I got to do to survive.
Yes, definitely. Great to hear that, man. Great to hear that. Yeah, man. So we're gonna go in with the first question, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yo, so where were you born, bro? Where were you born and raised?
Actually, I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Brownsville, to be exact.
Wow.
Raised there all my life
Okay.
until I moved out here, basically 2010.
Okay.
So born and raised there, Brooklyn, New York.
Yo, what was it like growing up in Brooklyn, man?
Man, it was fun. Of course, because it's very diverse. So you had your, Puerto Ricans, you had your, Dominicans, and it was, real diverse. So we knew, a lot of people, and of course, Black Americans. So we was friends with everybody. They didn't really know, we were, Garifuna from Honduras, but they clinged on to us as well as we did to them.
Okay, interesting. So what neighborhood did you grow up exactly in Brownsville?
Brownsville is called Riverdale Towers.
Okay. Okay.
It's right there off the 3 train, Rockaway Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Not too far from, I don't know if they still have, what's the name of the place? Akbar.
Okay.
And across the street from the Our Lady of Mercy Church.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, so, being in Brooklyn and, growing up over there and all of that, at what age did you become interested in doing music?
Man, I want to say out of my mom's womb,
Wow.
but I want to say the age probably 7, 8. Actually, I used to watch. Well, I have an older brother and a younger sister.
Okay.
And sometimes either I would be in a wedding or he would be in a wedding or coronación.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go to these places, to the parties, and the bands would be performing, as, your dad, been in a band, Tito, not Fuerza Brava, but Los Bravos
Okay.
de Honduras. They had Los Satélites de Honduras. So these bands would be playing, and I would just go right in front of the stage and just look.
Wow.
And just try to mimic everything they do when I get home. So probably about the age of 7, 8,
Okay.
I started doing that, and that's when I just fell in love with it.
Yo, back in the days, it was not back in the days, but just anybody that's interested in music, it's easy to memorize what it is that you saw, because anybody will ask, like, yo, when you got home, how you remember what you learned at the party?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right, but it kind of like stuck with you. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Interesting. So, all right. So what was your first instrument?
My first instrument, I would have to say it was a keyboard, playing the piano.
Okay.
Actually, my brother took lessons because, like I said, I have an older brother, so he took lessons, and my father bought him a piano.
Okay.
But like after a month, he didn't want to, play piano no more. So I just started taking it from there and just started like mimicking everything I would hear.
Okay.
And that's how I learned how to play.
Oh, wow. Interested.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, so what was the, so since that was the first thing you learned how to play, what was it, that you were playing? What's the first melody you was doing on the keyboard?
Man. I remember the very first time I went to Honduras with my parents was in 87.
Okay.
It's gonna make me sound old, but in 87. And, of course I was young, but I heard a band playing like way down, down in like 2 houses down or whatever.
Okay.
They was playing, and I memorized the song, and I was in Honduras for like a month.
Okay.
But I remembered it when I got back to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a reggae song. I think it's why yo, no, and it was something like that.
Okay.
And I memorized that, and I started playing from there. So that was like one of the first songs that I played on the keyboard.
Oh wow. Okay, so when you left Honduras in 87, I'm sure you left with a different mindset because you heard a group play, you were already playing the piano. So now what happens when you come back from Honduras? What is it that goes through your mind musically?
Actually, at the time I was in Honduras, also I had got a cassette from one of my cousins that was there, and what was on that cassette was Gobana.
Oh snap,
Yeah, I lost that tape. You know,
man.
I know I let somebody hold it. I know who got it. Probably they lost it, but I had that tape for a very long time. That cassette,
Oh
and I
wow.
used to listen to that cassette, over and over again, and try to mimic what they was doing.
Okay.
So that's what introduced me to Punta right there.
Wow, bro. Interesting. Interesting. All right. All right. So now here you are. You're learning all these things about music or whatever. So I'm assuming, right? The
Hmm.
first band that you played with was Garifuna Kids.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So how
Garifuna
was
kid.
yeah, so how did that how did that even start? Like before we get into the first performance, how did you guys link up? How did you get to the picture?
All right. Let me try to remember.
Yeah.
Actually, all right. Coco Man, he was playing with Grupo H at the time. He was their reggae singer.
Oh.
And Julian was playing with Big June's father. I think it was called Eduardo Ballesteros y su conjunto.
Okay.
And Big June was always around too with his father. He would go, I think he would be dancing or whatever and sing some reggaes too with his father.
Okay.
Me and Eddie went to the same junior high school, and that's basically how we got together. I remember when I first bought my bass, um, I was practicing a reggae, and Coco wanted to sing it. So he took me to Grupo H practice, and for some reason, it was my first time having a bass, so I tuned it messed up.
Oh.
So when I got to the rehearsal, I couldn't find the notes to the song. So I was upset. Then Coco got upset. He was like, you know what? We're gonna make our own band and this and this and that. And that's lo and behold, that's how it started.
Oh wow.
It was me, him, then Eddie. Then I told Coco, I'm like, I know somebody that plays, the piano, which was Julian. That's how we got in contact with Julian. And Julian said that for those of you, also know Julian as Don Julian, so he actually said that Big June Pop said if he ever gets into a band,
Yeah.
which is a young band, that Big June could come along with us,
Oh wow.
and that's how we basically formed Garifuna Kids.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it was another cousin of Julian, his name Tony too, that started with us.
Okay. Yeah, there's a famous picture of Garifuna Kids when y'all got on like them purple shirts
Purple.
and everything. Yeah. That was like the first generation. I was always interested to hear what that generation sounded like.
Yeah, it was hard. I
Okay.
think the musicians now, I don't think they would stand for that, or they would last that long.
Okay.
Because when we started, we only played probably like twice a year,
Okay.
which was either Christmas and New Year's or Christmas and like a Easter
Oh,
party.
okay.
Because
Okay.
we were young and
Yeah.
we were the only young band,
Okay.
so people didn't really like believe in us,
Mm-hmm.
but we just kept at it.
Okay. Yo, I could imagine playing once a year. So that means throughout the whole year, y'all check out other bands and stuff like that. And then when it's time for y'all to do y'all thing, y'all, come on and execute. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, so where was y'all first performance? Do you remember that?
First performance was in Brooklyn, actually. Actually, Grupo H, lo and behold, was the one that gave us our first chance,
Oh, okay.
to perform. So it was in Brooklyn. It was a place called Emporio Hondureño, something like that.
Okay.
It was on Pickens Avenue in Brooklyn. So
Okay.
they gave us our first gig.
Oh wow.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, 3 songs and that was it.
Yo, what, bro? 3 songs?
That's all we had. That's
Okay.
all we had. We had a punta, a reggae, and a slow jam.
Okay.
That's all we had. Aplausos, and that was it.
Oh wow. Okay, okay. Yo, so when did things start changing for Garifuna Kids? And what I mean by changing, I'm talking about as far as okay, now y'all have the capability to go into the studio and record an album, and then y'all getting contracts and y'all traveling all over the world. So how was it that y'all prepared yourself to go on and record these studio albums?
Actually, it started with like I said, we've been performing once or twice a year,
Yeah.
but some of us still kept with it.
Okay.
As far as me, Coco, Eddie, Big June, he was there on and off,
Okay.
But when we got in contact with the Roaches brothers, actually we played in Van Cortlandt one
Okay.
time, and lo and behold, Onan was with us.
Oh, okay.
And we played with Fuerza Brava. So that's how we basically got on, to perform in Van Cortlandt. And some of the Roches brothers was there, and they saw us perform. And probably about 6 months later, they got in contact with me, and they wanted to work with us, basically to be our managers. And that's how I got started. So, we perform, every now and again in the Bronx, Brooklyn, trying to get the name up.
Yeah.
And in 93, October of 93, we started recording the first album, which was the Baila Baila album.
I was 3 months, bro.
That was about 3 months, I say, and to my memory, I think we did that whole album in 4 days.
Okay.
As far as
wow.
the production, and then, as far as mixing and all that, it took, longer pictures and artwork and everything.
Okay. Yo, so if it took 4 days for the production, so that means y'all were rehearsing these songs before going to record them. That's how it was back in the days.
That's how it was. We would rehearse the songs, and from top to bottom, and try not to mess up.
Yeah.
So that when we get to the studio, everybody know what they got to do, and we take it from there. Okay. So that's basically what we did. We rehearsed it first.
Wow, interesting. Yo, so now, right? Did you expect for Garifuna Kids to become a big thing?
I want to say I dreamt it.
Okay.
But I didn't expect, the acknowledgement and the way we got, praised by everybody. I didn't think it was going to get that far.
Oh, wow.
Until a certain part, until we started getting, until Baila Baila, basically, the album started blowing up.
Okay.
And we started going to all these different places, Guatemala, Honduras, Belize, and, all over United States. Then I started seeing, the outcome of it.
Oh, okay. Where did y'all first travel to first as Garifuna Kids? Like, what was the first, okay, guys, the group is doing good. Y'all going on tour. Y'all going somewhere. Do you remember that?
Actually, I know after the album came out, which was in June of 94, we went to L.A. to promote it.
Okay.
So basically our first stop was L.A. Then I remember we went to Boston after that.
Okay.
And then at the end of the year, December of 94, we went to Honduras.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I was going to ask that. Like, how is it that it happened? Because what's the thing? A lot of us that grew up, admiring y'all, we just see videos and think that y'all became a group and then, boom, y'all just went. But I know there's always, like, a process to things.
Yeah. It took a while. Like I said, we started in, I want to say 91, 89, somewhere, 90, somewhere around there.
Oh, wow. So, look, it took like about 5 years for things to get well-established, for y'all to travel and things like that.
Yeah, like I said, it took from 1 to 2 performances a year to, playing almost every weekend, So it was, a process,
So when y'all got to Honduras in 94 of December, how was that experience? Like, did the people know who y'all were already?
Oh, yeah. They knew. From there, we went to radio stations. We went to, TV stations to do, shows. And, every party was basically packed.
Okay.
I wish there was like a time like now, everybody with the cell phones and everything.
Yeah.
Some people got videos, but maybe they lost it in the process over the years. But it was a great experience. People did know us, though.
Okay. That's interesting, bro. All right, so that's 94, right? So that's y'all promoting the first album, Baila Baila.
Yes, sir.
So then when y'all did the second album, which is Garifunizando America, yo, by then you was like the superstar of the group, bro. You sing the first song. America Baila. Is that your song?
Well, actually, Christian Flores, he wrote that song.
Okay.
So I guess for some reason they liked the way I sang in Spanish.
Okay.
So they let me do the Spanish part, and Christian did the Garifuna part.
Oh, okay.
So that's how that came about.
Interesting. Yo, can you talk to us a little bit about that era? Because I'm a music lover, right? And I know everybody else that loves music. Yo, that album was like, it was like next level from the first one, because there was different things going on. Y'all was playing around, and yo, when Christian said, "Y vuelve los Garifuna Kids con el," so talk to us about those times of your life. Of the second GK album.
The second GK, to me, it was an up and down thing. A lot of people don't know that album almost didn't even get done.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was just after the first album, it was a little, people get big heads and stuff like that.
Okay.
And, it was just, I don't know if you noticed, if you listen to the second album, in every song, you'll hear somebody say, oh, Bajo de Linky Zapata, or, Christian on the drums or whatever.
Yeah.
Because on the first album, they felt like they weren't recognized, So the second album, they wanted to get recognized on what they played on whatever song.
Mm-hmm.
So, their names were being said. But it was a great experience,
Okay.
Even though it almost didn't get, done, but fine. Lo and behold, we did it.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of praise.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, that's what's up. That's good to know that, man, because those are a lot of my favorite albums or whatever.
Garifuna